Now, as we heard a short while ago, it's been a bleak week, really, for Britain's high street in many ways. More than 4,000 jobs at risk after HMV announced that it was going into administration. It follows other chains have recently gone the same way. We've been talking about Jessops and Comet, and we talked earlier about Clinton Cards and JJB Sports. So what does all this tell us about the real state of the high street and indeed the kind of state of the retail market these days, given that lots of people clearly prefer to do their business, their shopping online? Clare Rayner is with me, a retail expert, author of the book Retail Champion. Clare, good to have you with us. Thank you very much. Let's talk about HMV specifically first before we talk about other examples. If you're sitting down with them and they're asking you for advice on precisely where they've gone wrong in the kind of offering, what would you say?
I think the store experience simply doesn't match what the consumer they're trying to attract was expecting. So that comes down to everything from the way they dress the windows to the interior design and the feeling of being inside a store. But that on the side, the fact that they didn't embrace this digital revolution we've had over the last 7 to 10 years, and they really didn't get online quickly enough, meant that when competition from other retailers and particularly the online giants was snapping at their heels, they lost their market share to them.
It's fascinating when you talk about the look of the store, because lots of people are just assuming today that it's nothing to do with that. It's to do with the fact that we're in a market that has moved dramatically. It doesn't matter what the store looks like, actually, because people are doing their shopping online. You're saying that that still matters.
For the people that want to go out to the shops and have a bit more of a social and interactive experience, they really do need the stores to look fantastic. I mean, mobile phone stores look good, and we still buy a lot of mobile phones online. So there isn't any excuse for, if you have a high street portfolio, not for the stores to look as good as they possibly can. And yes, we are doing a lot of shopping online, but it's not exclusive. And in this category, there's still a significant number of people who buy from shops.
It's interesting because, again, the way we introduced the story yesterday when this started to happen, and today we're talking about the last major high street retailer of music and film in this kind of form. So you could argue that the market is there for them to corner, and it's there for them to grab. And what you're saying is that they're simply not doing that.
I think there was a failure on that part, but it does take a lot of investment. And obviously earlier in 2012, HMV was supported by the music industry suppliers to continue trading. They've been struggling for a long time, and I think that the consumer drift away from what they offered, and also compounding the fact that they weren't offering what the consumer wanted, it's led to a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
You mentioned mobile phones, which is an interesting parallel. Give us another example of where you think a business where they've made a good transition online, but are still crucially offering a very good experience on the high street. What would you mention?
There are a number, and they're the ones who've done particularly well over Christmas. We've seen great results coming out from Next, John Lewis and Debenhams, all of those with a traditional heritage of store-based retailing, but they embraced e-commerce and moved to mobile commerce and have got a completely what we call multi-channel experience, meaning that you and I as customers can go into the store, experience the product, find out more about it, touch, feel that product, and if we so wish, we can then buy it online, have it delivered to our home or to the store to collect. And that integration of the different experiences online and offline are what really make these retailers who have done well over Christmas the winners.
HMV's boss saying today that he's still hopeful of a good solution, and clearly for all the staff, well, we all hope that's true. Do you think that that's a given? What do they need to do in practical steps then in the next 6 months, let's say, so that they've got a realistic prospect of turning these stores around, some 200 of them?
Well, I think they need to take a leaf out of Game's book. Game also entered administration and was born again with a new investor. They downsized massively, retaining only a handful of stores that were profitable, and then migrated a lot more of their business to the online experience. So I think they can look to retailers like that. But actually, there's a massive underlying issue here, which is probably one of the reasons why all of these retailers are struggling, particularly where there's significant online competition. And that's the disparity between the business rates that a shop on a high street will pay compared to what a distribution centre would pay for an online retailer. Massive differences of up to 100 times per square metre in terms of what goes out. So you have to sell so much more from a shop just to stand still when your competition is invested in online.
Interesting. Clare, good to talk to you, and thanks very much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Clare Rayner there for us.